What's going on, YouTube? It's Sean P from Project Unk. If you like what you've been seeing so far, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see, because we got a whole lot more to come. Back again with the crew for the season finale review and discussion of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Today, I'm being joined by Big Mike, also known as Mike Check. What's going on, Big Mike?
Hey, how's it going, Sean P? Appreciate you having me out again. Great finale to this season or a series. Hopefully there's more seasons, so I'm ready to get into it.
All right, and Super Blastex, also known as Javier. How you doing, brother?
What's up? Thanks for having me back. I was here 4 weeks ago, and I'm really glad I get to come back so I can talk about the whole thing, wrap it all up. Really good finale too.
All right, outstanding. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Also, before we get going too far into it, now I'm not gonna play any music like I did the last time for DMX, but I want to send a special shout out and rest in peace to Shock G, also known as Humpty Hump from Digital Underground. We lost another legend we lost two in the last 2 weeks, and it kind of hit hard, man. But I mean, you know, life goes on, and let's just bump his music and keep that legacy alive. He gave us Pac, and he gave us a bunch of good music. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. All right, so on this episode, I know we had a lot of stuff that we were looking forward to, because the last episode left on a kind of a cliffhanger. We wanted to know what was going on, and immediately they kind of jumped right into the action, and we see Falcon coming in to do his thing. Big Mike, talk to me, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Kind of like last episode, like you said, they went straight into it. I was expecting some surprises, and there weren't a lot of big surprises in this episode. They just dived right into it. You know, we had talked about the suit. We've been talking about it all week, seeing all this concept art on the suit, and I'm glad they didn't give that much of a build up. You know, we knew what it was going to be. But seeing him in it was awesome, and yeah, it was a great way to start the show.
Oh shit, we got another edition. The Crack King is in the building. What's going on, brother?
What's up? This is the Crack King from the Crack King podcast. You can catch me on Buzzsprout or Anchor or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast needs. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, brother? I'm glad you was able to make it. I thought for a second that you got caught up. So we were talking about how we liked the beginning of the episode, and we was getting ready to listen to Javier give his point of view. What's going on, brother?
No, I really liked it, especially coming off from the last episode, where it was, beside the beginning of it, was a pretty slow episode.
Right.
And then this one just sort of, like you said, just from the beginning, let's go. It very much felt like the third act of a regular Marvel movie. The suit looked great. It's a shame we knew about it for like months now. You know, because of marketing, COVID delayed a bunch of toys, but the toys were still, the pictures of them were out there. So it is interesting that the suit looks pretty much exactly like the comic book version, if you've seen what he looks like. Which isn't the first time they've done that. You know, Marvel's pretty good at that. But I do like how faithful it is, which doesn't mean anything because it's Marvel. Like I said, they do that, but it does look cool. It looks nice.
So I like the suit. What I didn't like, and I know y'all can't see me. There we go. What I'm not feeling the part from his neck up. I think I would have liked it better with but if it's being faithful to the comic book, then I'm not gonna complain. That it looked pretty dope. So the beginning of the episode, Crack, how did it hit you? How did it strike you?
When I seen him come out with the suit, because we were just talking about the suit, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised at the wings and how agile they were. I dug the opening scene, the him coming in. It was almost like he was an angel.
Yeah, especially when he landed with Carly in his arms. That I really got that feeling from that.
Spoiler alert at the end. Yeah, I have my issues with the suit even from the comics, but like I said, Marvel kind of got it right with the suit. That's what it looked like in the comics, so why not? So who am I?
So let me ask you this: what did you think of the fight? Was that entire opening sequence? Because once the show started, it kept going.
With Backdrop, the punk flipper, right?
With all of it.
The fight. I thought it was the best so far.
You liked it?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it just kind of called back from the beginning of the first episode when he was, flying and jumping in the helicopters with Backshot.
Okay.
I like the way the super, Carly was moving and fighting like super soldier with the juice as she always been, but it just had a little bit more edge to it. Because I guess it was just it was more to lose in this episode than anything.
All right, so during this fight, we get to see Sam really just show out and do his thing. Bucky did his thing, but I remember we were talking before about whether or not John Walker was redeemable, and they actually pulled that off. I think he came in at the end. He did the right thing. Big Mike, did you see this coming with John Walker?
Yeah, like I said before, in the comics, he's kind of like an anti-hero. He plays both sides, like he's trouble more or less, and I was worried about how they would do that, but I'm glad they did, and I don't even think I think to the audience it's a sort of redemption, but I don't think that's over yet. We're gonna see more of him hopefully, but he towards the end of the episode, we know now that the government is being infiltrated. It's likely Hydra again. So Val pulled some kind of magic, and now he's U.S. agent. So staying faithful to the comics, I'm glad they did that. I wasn't too much worried about it though. I was more interested on how everyone was going to start fighting. If there was going to be a buildup, or if they were, certain people were going to fight first. But they did it good. I like it.
So there was an opportunity for him to continue his vengeance on the Flag Smashers, and he chose to do the right thing and help the people in that van or truck or whatever you want to call it, those falling over the side of the building. Javier, do you think that's a turn in his personality, that this is something that we can expect from him, with a few flaws, but this is the personality we're going to come to expect from him?
I mean, I would hope so, but at the end of the day, he's still the guy who lost it and killed a dude in front of people in 4K, as you're saying. Right. But I think he's still got something in him that's not right. Real quick, to get back to the suit, I think you brought that they were agile, Cracked. That being from Wakanda is very much likely that they're vibranium wings or something.
You see how they dug into the ground when
yeah, so that might be because vibranium is like really light and that's why the shield's so throwable and everything. But yeah, that's another plus to the suit. But no, I think John Walker and Val and that whole thing, I think, and I may have said this when I first was on here, we're gonna get a setup to the Thunderbolts, where I think there he can get more of a redemption, because I don't know if him saving those people was enough, because even then the senators and everything were thinking Sam and not John Walker. So
to me, Yeah, they snuck the redemption in there with his Medal of Honor to pull on our heartstrings. It's reminiscent of redeeming or saying, hey, you know, these cops that are killing people in the line of duty, you know, things happen. You don't know what they're going through. It's almost like comparative to redeeming a police officer that made a bad decision.
So you think it was shades of that, okay, so this person really fucked up, but let's throw this out there, and this is going to soften his image up a little bit.
Yes. Just like this whole series was spotlighting American issues, that is one of them. And they threw it in there. So
you mentioned that. I do want to talk about the I guess the monologue or the speech that he gave. You know, what all the cameras are watching. I thought it was a little bit, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a little heavy-handed. However, I think it could have been written better. But he made some pretty salient points talking to the media. Do you think that in real life, because you know, Kodak mentioned there's shades of things that's going on in America right now. Do you think that if we had somebody right now that carried the same weight that Sam may have, that particular speech or what he's saying would have any effect on people's behavior or thought process?
I felt like if you didn't get it, it was a little long-winded. I feel like it was a little bit preachy, but if you didn't get it, this is just the Crack King speaking. It was almost a speech to Black America.
Right.
In the Marvel Universe saying, hey, there's something going on. You need to join me so we can fight this and write this. And me being Captain America, I'm setting the stage for this is how we need to be in the new America.
I gotcha. Javier, what do you think, brother?
I thought the speech was fine. It's a shame that the show was delayed because apparently there was another storyline where there was a disease.
I heard about that. A virus.
Another kind of virus that was in the show. Right. That would have been another through line in the show. And they had to, obviously, they took that right the hell out. So I wonder if that was what killed the lady's mom or caretaker or whatever.
Instead of it being tuberculosis.
Yeah.
I remember they said that you don't actually hear them saying this on camera. That they had to kind of reconfigure how they did the show. And I also think that may kind of lend itself. So I feel like the show was rushed. Not the show, this episode was rushed. And I'll get a little bit further into that because I don't want to get thrown off track. But you were saying, Javier, about
about his speech. Yeah, his speech was cool. It was a hell of a delivery. He held that shield right. He spoke the way, you know, you expect that kind of growth of a character to handle it. What I thought was a little heavy-handed was, look, it's Falcon. No, that's Captain America.
Black Falcon.
I was like,
yeah.
Oh, does he say Black Falcon? He says, yeah.
Yeah, Black Falcon.
No, that's Captain America. And I just went like this to this TV screen.
The thing is, because I feel where they coming from, it's just like,
did you know it wasn't nothing but Black people in the
yes. And then you had the older one, and then you had the younger one talking like, no, that's Captain America. I mean, don't get me wrong, loved it, but it was one of those situations where it was like, okay, y'all could have.
What I was going to say, you ain't no Malcolm or no Martin.
He said you special. He's like, man, fair enough, man.
Ain't no Malcolm or no Martin. But he is Black Captain America.
Yes, sir. Big Mike, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, the speech, yes, was a little longer than it needed to be. Definitely preachy, but it was for me. There was two important things. One, this is where we see Sam as Captain America. He just saved the day, and now the spotlight's on him, and he needs to give that speech. But what I appreciated about it, and in true Captain America style is that he didn't let Carly die in vain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he saw in her what the average, you know, citizen would not have seen. She was a villain to most, but you know, Sam having dealt with people that have gone through tragedy and having, you know, done, you know, the group talks and therapy and all that, you know, he held on to that, and he made he brought light into her cause. So again, she didn't die in vain, and you know, he felt for her out of anyone, and even to the end, he tried so hard to save her life and couldn't. So you know, I appreciate it in that sense. But yeah, as far as the length is just okay, we get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's not. There's still it's like today when we try and say something, you're not going to convince people. So it's like, you know, he did good, but some people are not going to be convinced.
He said that in the speech, though. He said it in the speech that, you know, I'm not going to convince everybody. There's people around me right now are looking at me like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know? So
I hate that he's wearing those colors.
Hate that he's wearing the colors, having the shield.
Exactly.
Talking to everybody and the Black community and trying to be unified.
Right.
A unified America.
And that's going to be really hard to do.
Real quick, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting. I really wanted to know if the world would consider that he was one of the people that were blipped, and that sort of helped inform him taking the shield, or informs people looking at how he takes the shield, because he technically was one of the people that came back, you know, in this whole thing. So where he fought, and I don't know, it's a whole political thing that I think could have been cool to dive into. Like if you saw somebody like, oh, what does he care? He wasn't here and then he's back. You know, that whole kind of thing where you can see into that. But again, it feels like you said, Sean, the story was sort of rushed, and maybe they just picked out the stuff.
The ending was rushed. It's obvious something was off about the episode. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'll get more into that a little bit later on in our discussion. But there was just something tonally off about it, like something was missing, and I forgot all about the whole virus thing that they took out of it.
Sam's love interest.
Who's that?
I don't know. That's what was missing. I think he didn't have a love interest. He didn't have a damsel in distress.
I'm kind of glad they didn't go that way, because I think with him having to prove himself, and he had so much on his plate already. I think adding a love interest to it would probably just, you know, take from the story. I would like to see them like in season 2, which I think that's what they're gearing up for. I would love to see that.
I want to see a movie though. I mean, I had that. I wanted to bring that up. Like, are we going to get TV, or is he going to be in the movie? Like, how is that going to work? What are they going to do?
So do you want to see a Falcon and the Winter Soldier movie, which I'm all for? I
want to see a Falcon Winter, because this was reminiscent of
Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Oh shit! Part 2. Yeah. Or like the sequel. Yeah.
Well, not even. I mean, just the spelling. You know, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This would be Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, because he's not the Falcon anymore.
No.
Yeah, that's how the credits started. They changed the title.
Okay.
I love that. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the episode, was seeing that.
That's what I felt like was missing, was like, it wasn't like, I mean, it was big budget as far as TV, but I wanted to see, you know, more edge, more gray, just on a whole nother level. Let's just amp it up a little bit.
Yeah, because when I saw the 51-minute runtime before I started the episode, I was like, "Ooh, man, that's a whole lot you got to do in 51 minutes." Because the last episode was a solid hour.
It flowed though. It flowed. I just feel like it. I don't want that to be a TV show. I want that to be a movie like Black Panther. I want it to change the way we view black cinema.
I got you.
Yeah.
So let's get into during that whole opening sequence, or toward the end of the opening sequence, we finally found out something that we already knew, that Sharon Carter was the.
I didn't know it.
Was the pop? Yeah, y'all were saying it. Y'all were saying it.
It was either her, or to me it was either her or we weren't gonna find out.
Right. So Javier, were you surprised by that, or how do you feel about it? Because let's go ahead and talk also, since we're talking about Sharon Carter, go ahead and talk about the end credit scene as well, or the mid credit scene.
Whoa, was there? No, wait.
No, it was just
okay.
That's why I changed it to mid credit.
It kind of annoyed me that it was her, because not that you need to base your actions on what your aunt or uncle did, but what would Aunt Peggy think? Right. That she's doing this shit. Like,
but she feels fucked over though, right?
Yeah, she does. But did you really have to go and do that? Like, what you're doing?
It's been a long 5 years.
That is
5-6 years.
You know what?
But I think. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. Go ahead. No, okay. I think her getting pardoned and her, that phone call she does at the end. I'm gonna admit I didn't think of this, but I read it somewhere in the comments. I think her drastic change in character, because she was so down to save Captain America and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in Civil War, and she was, so Boy Scout, good guys thing, for her to turn around and act this way she did in the show. And we know we're getting a Secret Invasion show.
Please don't tell me. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, man.
You're a genius. You're a genius, because that's exactly what I was thinking. Scroll. That is exactly what I was thinking.
That is some scroll action right there.
She was using, like, when she gassed that dude. Sharon Carter wouldn't do that. That's not right. Just
yeah.
Burn that man up like he was a chicken wing.
Yeah.
That's scroll action right there.
Yeah, that caught me off guard, dude. I was like, you couldn't shock him and knock him out. You did that. I mean, I can't even argue that point. I just really, really hope.
But why not? That storyline is one of the greatest comic book storylines ever.
I got you. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. And so I don't have an issue with scrolls, but I don't want it to become like so. Say if writers paint themselves into a corner. Say if writers paint themselves into a corner and then they go to the time travel thing to get themselves out of it. I don't want them to go through a whole storyline where they drastically change a character, and then when they decide to change courses, it was a scroll the whole time, and now we can start back over with that character. I just don't want them to fall back on that and be lazy with it. That's all it is.
Well, not be lazy, but that's what they do all the time in the comics.
Yeah,
they self in the corner, and then it was like they killed Captain America, and Sam became Captain America, and then they were like, "Oh, people aren't digging Falcon, Captain America, whatever they wanted to call him."
God damn it, we deserve better.
We deserve. They wasn't digging Black Captain America, and they said, "Okay, let's bring old Blue Eyes back." And they give him some more juice to make him young.
Big Mike, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, we've seen some great stuff in the MCU. So to just rely on the scroll aspect, and we have so much more coming up. Captain Marvel 2. We saw the Scrolls,
Armor Wars,
Secret Invasion. So let's not use that all up right now. I mean, we don't even know if there is going to be a second season, but I would like to dive into more as to why Sharon's friends, Captain America, Sam Wilson was made good on his word and got her pardoned. So what is keeping her? What's keeping her from coming back and just being?
You say what? Correct?
Alien DNA is what keeping her from.
God damn it! Please don't do that to me.
I
I'm
like
begging.
the idea that they
I'm-
touched on. It was
Brother,
a
I'm begging you.
you know.
Yeah, she did get snapped. She did get blipped.
Who?
Sharon. Yeah.
But she's only so.
No, she didn't get blipped.
I don't think she got blipped. I think because this is only a year after the blip, less than a year. There's no way she could have got that much power in Madripoor in that amount of time, right?
I thought 5 years.
Unless she's a scroll.
5 years.
So that's your scroll angle.
Look, well, the reason I say she was blipped because I think in Endgame they have those screens and they're looking at who's been blipped. I think she's one of the faces. I don't know if you remember. They have like Tom Holland and Paul Rudd, and you see all the.
I'd have to look at it again. I don't specifically remember.
No, I don't think I saw. I remember seeing Ant-Man because they thought he did, but I don't remember seeing that.
No, but I mean, if that is the scroll storyline that she wasn't, that if she was blipped or she's being captured or she's dead, who knows? I just lost my train of thought talking about the goddamn scrolls.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you fucking get because that is ridiculous.
With that shit. Anyway,
like I said, I don't have no issue with the scrolls. Yeah. I just don't want them to start relying on that because when I got to the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, that bothered me that they were scrolls the whole time. But then again, they got away with a lot of shit that Nick Fury just wouldn't have let.
That whole Spider-Man left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest Spider-Man. I enjoyed the movie, but it's just different aspects of it that I didn't really care for.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, and we kind of skipping ahead just a little bit. We're gonna go back and and get some overall thoughts on everything. And you guys just talk about whatever you want. But Zemo, goddamn Zemo, he was an afterthought, and I have to hand it to him, brother. Believe me when I say Zemo is a man of his word. When he said he don't want any super soldiers, he meant that shit. And he must have came to an agreement in his mind about Bucky and allowed that shit to happen. But to have his butler tear shit up it caught me off guard because initially when I saw the butler, like, what the fuck is that? And Sharon was like, not, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot all about dude. So I kind of like.
And then it shows you Zemo right after, and I think, oh, that was his butler. Yeah, man, what a classy villain. I mean, it kind of was like
I like him.
Yeah, and you got to remember that we do know a little bit about his past. He wasn't always a villain trying to conquer the world. He lost his family, his son. I saw this meme where it brought up this point. He was ready to die twice, thinking that he had done what he could do. He thought Black Panther was going to kill him, and he didn't.
Himself. He was
right. And then he was prepared for Bucky to shoot him, and then that didn't happen. But I mean, I don't even know if you can call him a villain. I mean, he just does.
Oh, he's a villain. Yeah. He's a villain. It's just that you kind of you can identify with his thought process, and we all have. Well, I ain't gonna say we all have fun. We all, a lot of us have visions of being vigilantes or righting wrongs and doing all that stuff. But the fact that he's actually doing it and he's doing it so brutally, I would think that would classify him as a villain. It's just he's so, like you said, he's a gentleman. You kind of respect it. I wasn't expecting that. Javier, talk to me about it.
Yeah, I thought it was cold. He just looks so content. And just because it's Zemo, I don't know if he's made peace with John Walker and Winter Soldier being the last ones that have the I mean, like you said, he's a man of his word. I can see him still holding that grudge and trying to find a way to get back at them. But I do like that he's still around and we could see him in a potential season 2 or whatever they have planned for him in the future. But yeah, he did a really good job. Like the actor,
Daniel Bruhl.
Yes.
Daniel Bruhl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
Correct.
That ass Zemo.
you like Zemo, right?
I do like Zemo.
I do too. I respect him,
He's almost like the Batman we want.
but we don't deserve.
I was thinking the same thing. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Hey,
Shit. I like the way he stole that scene, you know, the foreshadowing. We might see him again. I like the way he just called that shot from the fucking raft.
the raft.
Like, I don't understand that. I thought everything was like supposed to be blocked waves where you couldn't, you know, radio out or none of that shit. So, you know, shout out to him and his big money. That's big money Zemo.
Yeah, I think with a lot of these cats and chicks, apparently, it's the technology that they have in the MCU kind of surpasses a whole lot of stuff that you can really do to shut it down. And if you also add to the fact that they are rich and they can do they can get a whole lot of stuff accomplished. So all right, man. Let's do this. We most of us have gone through the entire season. We've had our theories and what's going to happen. A lot of it is, unlike WandaVision, a lot of what we predicted is actually came to fruition. I want y'all to give me your overall thoughts on the season, and in that with what you think they're going to do in season 2 if we get a season 2. But I'd rather have season 2 than to have a movie. So who want to go first, man?
I'll go. Well, I think they overall they did a great job of it wasn't just so easy for Steve Rogers to hand him that shield. They had to give it some depth to making Sam Captain America, and I think they did a overall good job of that. They redeemed the Winter Soldier. He's no longer a Winter Soldier. You know, society recognizes him now as a hero. And exactly, and yeah, exactly right. They even though it was this episode, they know who he is now. I mean,
yeah, because he walked up to the police and they were like Sergeant Barnes, and they kind of
there's that respect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So and then they wrapped it up, and even if we don't get anything else, or maybe I'm kind of with Craig. I would like to see a movie and get real deep, and then cut a lot of these ties with this story. But I think one of the other things I appreciate is they subtly bring in some X-Men universe stuff with Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have the location, Madripoor. So they throw that in there. So that's one thing I can't wait to see more of, and I'm hoping that with these future shows that we get, or if we get a season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, they start bringing more of that back in. But yeah, it was an amazing show. They did a great job. It was quick. They put a lot into 6 45 to an hour long shows. But I mean, I appreciate the MCU writers. Like, they do a great job. So yeah, it was awesome.
Okay. Javier, what are your thoughts about this season and what you kind of expect, whether or not they're going to do another season 2, or they're going to try to get into covering a lot of the material in the movie?
I think we're going to be getting a season 2, if only because it's kind of been hinted at by some of the cast. Sebastian Stan has said he'll do whatever Kevin Feige asks him to do. So, but the interesting thing, I think, is they're going to maybe call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which will be funny when you say, hey, have you seen Captain America and the Winter Soldier? The movie or the show? I think that would be funny. but I really did enjoy this series a lot. Last episode, before this one, I really enjoyed that whole montage of them two being buddies, of them fixing the boat and training and all that. And I really would love to see more of these two together. And I'm really grateful that we got that in the show, because in the movies you saw they hated each other, but not really. You know, they have a friend in common, and there's a reason they work together, work well together, is because of this friend in common. And with that friend gone, they were still able to, you know, recognize each other, play to their strengths. And I really liked how this show explored that. And you got to see Bucky sort of uh, take second to Captain America, without it like being overly stated, like I'm your sidekick. No, like it just felt so natural and so great. And then I just loved all the seeds throughout the show where Sam would have this speech with Kylie, and you know they're by themselves and they're talking, and the way he talks to her is like, yeah, no, that's how Captain America talks. And the way Sam would just carry himself, and he just did a great job. Anthony Mackie, that these guys, even though they're coming from the movies to the shows, they're carrying, you know, this 7 long years of this character that they've been playing.
Right.
I'm talking, you know, Elizabeth Olsen, and Vision. Excuse me, I forgot his name too.
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. You just see how they're carrying these characters that they've had for all these years, and how they're expanding them into these 30-minute, 45-minute shows. It's just really refreshing, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be a long ass month to wait for Loki. But I think we're gonna see a second season. I think we're gonna see. I'm not gonna say the S word again, but you know what I'm talking about. And I think we're gonna see some expansions in the other shows with Rhodey, because you got to think about it. Secret Invasion won't work. I said it won't work unless you lose characters that turn out to be the S word. You know.
Right.
But we'll see. I'm excited overall.
Okay. What happened? We lost somebody. Hey, Clark, there's something I want to get into. But I want you to give me your overall thoughts on the show, and what you know. I know you think there's a movie coming up, but tell me what your overall thoughts on the show is, and what do you think is going to happen in, you know, considering the mid credit scene, and what do you think is going to happen next?
When I first heard about this show before COVID, there was a lot going on in America, and I was like, I don't care about that right now. We got other shit to deal with. And then COVID hit, and then that whole racial tension during COVID. And when we were on lockdown, I was like, oh, what are we going to watch now? And then, you know, Kerry Scoglin and Malcolm Spellman came out with this and did an awesome job of showing us, you know, giving us great commentary, great representation, and it's been phenomenal content. I feel like I want a movie. I feel like this was like their audition.
Gotcha.
You know, into the
real quick. Do you want a movie
with
all of them, or do you want Isaiah to have his own story? Actually, like a Captain America First Avenger style story.
I like to have Isaiah's story as a TV show.
Got it.
Like stylized and dated. A period piece.
A period piece. Yeah.
And I want Anthony Mackie, which he's an Oscar level performer, and Sebastian Stan, Captain America and Bucky movie, because that's the duo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I really enjoyed that. So what I did want to get into is the end of the episode. What I consider to be the end of the episode. Falcon once again goes back to Baltimore, and he goes to see Isaiah and Elijah Bradley, and they have their conversation. He asks him to, can you get yourself together or whatever? I got something to show you. And they took him to the Smithsonian, and he had his own wing. I am not being hyperbolic when I tell you, your boy shed a couple of tears.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that. And even Shaky was like, oh, my baby is crying. I wasn't crying. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't crying.
Man, it's okay, man. It's okay.
But because this is allergy season.
It's okay to cry.
No, but I'll joking aside, man. That is my favorite part of they set all of this up and all the pain that this man went through and paid it off, and it just easily my favorite part of the episode. I had my issues with the pacing and them, like they sped through when he make amends with the father of the guy that he killed, that he had been hanging out with. I think they sped through that a little bit too fast. That was really rushed. This more than any other episode, they probably could have stood to add an extra 10 minutes. And I think a lot of the stuff that I had an issue with as far as pacing, they would have fixed that easily. But like I said, I digress. That episode that part of the show when they took him, Isaiah and Elijah to the Smithsonian, and that man got his flowers. I want to know what y'all think about that before we wrap up the show. I'm going to start with Big Mike, and then we're going to end with Crack.
Okay. Yes, I'm glad they did that. I think you're right. They could have done so much more with even 10 more minutes. I think there could have been more that could have been done for him. The museum, the Smithsonian, that makes sense. I wish there could have been more, but I also, I tell myself, even to the end of this series, Isaiah was still his stubborn self, and even though he saw Sam's speech, and you could tell he had this kind of renewal about his faith in the world. Even like you said, Sam, he's like, yeah, well, you're still black. Like he still has that attitude, and I could tell that he appreciated what he got, but again, he's old, and I don't think that he's going to come out of the spotlight, and we're going to have a whole story about him now. A retroactive one would be nice. Mm-hmm. Maybe if they do like Steve time with the Stones, and he visits Isaiah, that would be cool. But overall, I'm glad they put that in there. That was much needed.
So Javier, your thoughts?
Oh man, I got emotional too. I'm gonna admit it. When he was just there talking to him and took him to the museum, and that's to say, I looked it up. That's why I'm looking over here. Carl Lumbly, the actor who played Isaiah, he knocked it out of the park every scene he was in. He played that perfectly, man. Man, I can't say enough good things about it. That scene was great, and I like that he accepted it. I kind of wish, like Mike was saying, he had one more crack. Like, okay, it's a good first step or something, because he was so the way he is the whole show. But yeah, that scene was powerful, and I do wish we explored a little bit more with what Bucky had done. He just crossed out all those names.
And gave the book back to the his psychiatrist. Yeah, that was profound. But
it was definitely a Captain America show, not Falcon. Captain America show. And that scene where he was trying to make amends with Isaiah was fantastic.
Crack, talk to me, brother.
This is the Crack King speaking. I felt like that scene with Isaiah was like what the Black community wants, just to have a little corner of history spotlighted, just to be acknowledged, like Sam said to Isaiah, we built this country. And I think it was poignant, and I think it was just, that's just what it showed you. We don't want a big episode. We don't want a big parade. We just want that corner right over there where it could be seen and not hidden.
We can be acknowledged.
Yeah. That's all anybody wants. It's human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And to deny that is implorable. Is that the word? Implorable? I want to say
deplorable.
Deplorable. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, that's what I do. So, I mean, how did you feel about the execution of that? Were you emotional, or were you like meh?
I was like, Isaiah, that's my man.
Gotcha.
I have some of the same views as Isaiah. And I just felt like, yeah, he did that, but it was like, I wanted everybody to see that, I wanted the whole world to see that. Have a press conference and then, but it just, I didn't cry. I felt proud, and I felt like, why can't America just get that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's almost like
it's almost like it's hard.
Yeah. It's ongoing. It's like it's never ending. Like, we have the show. I didn't want it to end. I love the show, but it's like, now what? We got this. They gave it to us. This is what we wanted. We put it out there in the ether. Now what do we do?
Right. And
I hate that this was the MCU. I would have rather it been a real live, like something that happened in real life.
I mean, that's always possible, but it's going to take all of us not necessarily agreeing. The idea isn't to agree. The idea is to listen to the next person and try to empathize or understand where that person is coming from. And we've gotten to a point in our society where we don't do that. We have ideas and we're stuck on them, and anything outside of what we think the next person should do is an issue. And it's, so you got to have, it's about tolerance. And right now we're not there. I know this is it's a TV show, right?
Yeah.
But
this isn't what we're doing now.
Exactly.
This is where it starts.
Exactly.
Mic check, super blast. After this, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna change?
Yeah.
I got that. So anyway, y'all, this has been another episode of Project Unk, and I got my peoples in here, Super Blast X, Mike Check, or Big Mike, and the Crack King himself. Y'all come and check us
out. Spotify.
Hold on. Let me do it right. Spit it.
Check out this, the Crack King from the Crack King Podcast. You can check me out on Spotify, Anchor, or Buzzsprout, or YouTube. Coming soon. Come check me out.
Big Mike.
Yep, Mike Check in the house. Thanks for having me. It was real fun. I'm glad I got to get in on this with y'all. And I can't wait for us to do some more stuff together. That'd be great.
Javier.
Thanks again for letting me in here. Really had a fun time talking about this with you guys. Like I said last time, I work at GameStop, and when I'm in this culture like this, I want people to talk to. Sometimes I hold people up in the line because I need to just talk to somebody about this stuff. I'm so glad I got an outlet here to talk to you guys about it. Had a lot of fun. Super Blast X on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. But yeah.
I like your Mario bed.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, hold on. Let me see how they do it. Yeah. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of other stuff coming out. We're gonna hook up again, and we're gonna just continue this, and we're gonna get a little bit better at it. and I want you guys to come back and check us out again. So thank you for tuning in. Take care of each other, and peace out.